This conference will now.
States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning, everybody. It's the Mitchell County Board of Supervisors meeting. We're at the Mitchell County Courthouse in Osage. The meeting is available online also. Mine up here. We have an agenda of this. Any corrections need to be made to the agenda? If not, I'll accept the motion for the agenda.
I just couldn't find anything that was updated. I got an email from Rachel and looks like everything's the same.
So what I did was I sent her items 11, 12, and 13. And when I sent her on the agenda, I didn't put discussion and possible action. So I wanted to just specify that it was just discussion and possible action for those. So those are I guess it wasn't 13, but it was also 8, so. Yeah, so add a
Just the
discussion
wording,
and possible
basically.
action.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Need a motion? Brian makes the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Harto seconds. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Approve the minutes of the February 7th, 2023 meeting. Has everybody had time to look the minutes over? If we're good, I'll accept the motion for that.
Make a motion to approve the February 7th meeting.
Richard makes a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Meyer seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing none.
Roll call, Todd.
Aye.
Jim.
Aye.
Sydney. Aye. Mike.
Aye.
Mark.
County Attorney update. County Attorney General discussion, excuse me.
Gentlemen, I gotta head up to do juvenile hearings here in a minute. They've got our schedule a little bit. They hired a new district associate judge. So she does some of the hearings, so the schedule's kind of screwed up now. We have everything all together, but the schedule's all screwed up, so I'm gonna have a little conversation with them and say, you're gonna have to get these hearings consolidated for me, so I'm not running a million different places all the time. That's neither here nor there, but that's just why I gotta duck out here in a minute. I guess last week's been pretty busy, so I don't even remember what I've been doing for sure, but I got a few things working on. I got a few things I've been trying to work on for a while that I haven't gotten to. I need to try to get to that this week. I don't know if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'm just trying to.
I had a question about, we talked about, there was an email that came out in regards to the Riceville law enforcement thing. It's kind of for both of you, where are we at with that or what's going on?
The contract?
I reached out to the city clerk yesterday because I had not seen it.
I got
She
it.
said that it was mailed to the county attorney's office.
I got it.
January 30th, they signed off on it.
Yeah, I got it. It's copies going to you and to you guys.
So we should be good.
We're good to go.
I got it.
Any
Of course,
other-
it terminates automatically, right?
28th February is my understanding.
I have a question. It's been brought to my attention that there's a street in St. Ansgar that's not plotted. That's behind the nursing home. It's 300 North Union Street. The building's been there for a couple of years. Ambulance, UPS trucks, nobody knows, can't find it because it's not in GPS. It's not. Is that the city of St. Ansgar required to put that in?
So
You
that
know?
was originally platted as Union Street.
Correct.
We
That's what-
couldn't
yep.
find where it was vacated. And then when it was sold to Tim Schultz and he built on there.
Yep.
He built on that street. If he does that, then it can't have the same name that it originally had. So we're kind of waiting for them to give us something.
Ooh, St. Ansgar?
Yeah,
Well, it's been like 2 years now.
I know,
People are,
yes.
yes,
So 911's plotted as Union Street,
it's,
Yep.
okay, how come nobody can find it?
but, well, if you type it in your phone, that's up to, the people receiving packages to make sure that they contact Google. on maps and stuff that it would generate if you were to do a Google search. It's, it's basically a private street with private homes.
So it ain't a public street, no?
Well,
Or
it's
is
a
it?
public
I don't
street,
know.
but it's private homes on there, so there's businesses on there.
Yeah, there's no businesses, it's just apartments or duplexes or
So I
whatever.
don't know if we need to talk to GIS to get them to update it on their maps for the
So we
county.
can't update it until it's a mess. Because I can go back and I'll pull up the emails and ask if there's any update on it.
So will there be a name change?
I really don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, I
That's
don't know, I
like-
don't even know what the situation is.
Yeah,
Because people live in there, you need to send ambulances,
Right.
law enforcement, fire trucks, that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. So we got it as Union Street, so.
yeah, that's what I was told, it was Union Street, but it doesn't, in Google or whatever, it doesn't come up, so. I guess the ambulance had a hard
I can
time
send
Find
finding
a lot of
it.
streets that'll come up in Google, and there's a lot of complaints on
Is there?
my
Okay.
package.
But I don't know what ambulances use, but they weren't able to.
I'll
find it
follow
right
up
away.
the email, it was like me, Amy, and City of St. Anthony. Follow up on
So I
that.
didn't know if it was a county thing or a St. Ansgar thing, or,
We're waiting for documentation from them.
The cities, incorporated cities name their own
okay,
streets.
well, then it's on them, I guess, right?
You're gonna work on it then, right, Rachel?
Yep.
Okay, very good.
All right, thank you.
Anything else from the board for the county attorney? Okay, thank you.
But duck out here, and
You
you'll
bet.
know why.
Thank you. Sheriff update.
Yeah, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
I just have a question for you, and I know by policy that our PRN folks aren't provided any type of insurance as a benefit. Is there anything in our policy anywhere that prevents a PRN from purchasing insurance from the county at the county rate? Is that something that we would consider? It might help me hang on to some people a little bit better. I was thinking about that the other day. I don't need an answer from you today. But it might be something that if they can get in at the same rate as our FT30s and our FT40s, husband or wife, if the husband or wife has a full-time job and I got a PRN, and they can buy insurance at maybe a lower rate because they work for the county, it might help them out and it might help me out.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out. I don't know if there's anything in policy that prevents them from doing that.
I believe that, like, I can get a single, but I can, purchase my wife's, right, Rachel? For
Yeah,
family? And I pay for it, right?
Right. You pay the difference.
So I think it's something to look into, but it doesn't
No
always.
difference between elected and higher PRNs. You would look at it the same.
Yeah,
I mean, something to think about
we
for,
can put it on the agenda for discussing it,
yeah.
you know, and then think about it for a week and
Yeah,
whatever.
I don't want an answer, need one today, but it might help me hang on to some people. I have, one PRN now, it's gonna go full-time in Malheur County. She's gonna try and stay with us, but they're gonna want her the same hours I do. So just trying to do something
Yeah.
to, hang on to them.
How many hours did your PRNs work? Or does it
Well,
vary?
It varies just by the nature of being PRN. But it's feast or famine, so when we get into vacation season, they're gonna be working more. So I'd have to really go back and look at timesheets, Mike, but maybe on average, during a pay period, they might work 10 to 15 hours.
Wonder what the average would be per year, then you could kind of gauge it that way as a, the part-time 30s, if it's a part-time 20,
So, yeah.
or something, or, I don't know.
Part-time 30s, my policy says they'll work an average of 30 hours in a pay period. So one pay period, they might have 20, the next they might have 40.
Right.
And meet their average.
Something-
So anyway, just throw that out, give it some thought, and,
I think
we
it
can
could be
discuss
doable
it
based on
again
the
next
average
week,
hours
maybe.
or something.
and if it's a non-starter, then it is, we'll just keep moving forward. So that's all I have. So,
Rich, you wanna put that on the agenda for next week,
Yep,
discussion
I got
about
that
that?
And maybe if we could get how many hours they work a year average,
I think we can between now and then. Yeah, I'll get with Easy on that.
a way to figure the rate or whatever,
Yeah, I'll try to have a number for you on that.
I don't know, that's, I guess, how I would go about it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Department head discussion. Just a reminder to all the departments that the sheriff made mention last week, he's got a vehicle for sale, possibly in March or April. I don't think secondary roads interested or another department. Just kind of reminding everybody about that.
I'd be interested in this.
Okay. So there'll be a bidding war, so. Okay. Okay. Okay, so, want to discuss as far as the packet that we get for the meetings. Rachel supplies paper copy on the table for us, for the board supervisors to come here and make copies for what we need. Today's packet is pretty much for the engineers stuff. There's another one also for the fireworks. So we make copies of those for our meetings. And what I guess I'd like to propose is to send those digitally as attachment to us, to the board of supervisors, so that for today's, the engineer's packet would be a PDF document. The fireworks permit would be a PDF document. The reason I want that is that there's times one of us might be sick, we're not gonna be able to come here to get these documents. We might be able to participate in the meeting Zoom, so we would have the documents on hand because they were sent to us electronically. Also, if we're on vacation, we're not available to come here, we'd have them available to us. We could Zoom in on the meeting, we'd have the documents. Another thing is supervisors get paid mileage to come to the courthouse. There's mileage that's being paid to come pick up these documents. And if they were sent digitally, might be able to just not have to come to the courthouse to pick up the documents. So there's just a number of reasons I would like that to happen. So would the board be okay with that happening? Sure. Yeah, it's just, are you okay with that, Rachel?
I am. I will clarify. I don't have a problem doing that. I do want to also mention that I'm not your secretary directly. I am the clerk to the board. I do provide those documents. And I don't have a problem. I can scan them, that's fine. I also don't have a problem doing that when you guys are on vacation or sick. I've done that for people in the past. It's just been like a power war. Rachel, do this for me. Rachel, do this for me. That is not my job. I will scan them to you if that's how you want it. That is fine. I just want to make that clear.
Okay.
So,
So to not engage in this
Yes.
thing here, okay, this
Yeah.
is just a discussion.
no.
So clarify me on this.
Mhm.
The stuff that the engineer supplied, I don't know if you need to scan it, do you? Because isn't it something that's already on your computer? It's just simply a.
No, Rich handed that to me last week.
Right, but I have an electronic copy, so I printed it out that
Yeah.
day. I could have.
Yeah.
I could have provided electronic one, I guess.
Yeah.
Just last week I had it in hand, so I gave it to you.
Okay,
But it is an electronic form. I could,
You need all that.
normally I do
Yeah.
that, but I just happen to have the copy that day in case we were able to sign it last week. So it is electronic form.
so
Yeah.
I'm not trying to create work, but I'm
That's
trying to clean up paper, make things
And
more
that-
efficient.
A lot of times, well,
That's easier. Email.
I'll bet
Accurate.
99% of the time the stuff I give you is either scanned in or already in electronic form.
Yep.
Or-
That's fine.
So it's something we can try to work
Yeah.
towards?
Yeah.
Okay,
And on the discussion, so when I came in Saturday or Sunday, I like my hard copies. So, I ran off everything that we were getting before, but, so that means that we're gonna need more paper. We had that discussion. Are you okay if we come up and ask for a
that's
bundle?
the next thing I want to discuss. I'll answer your question. Okay. So I think we're done with that. So I set up an account with online, or not online, but with an office supply company. So we will have an account, which we need to pay for our own stuff. I get that, that's totally fine. If the board of supervisors needs anything, by all means, get a hold of me, and it's not like I'm the chair, so right now it's set up that I will purchase the stuff, but I'll purchase some office supplies for us, so we have some things. If we run low on something, let me know. I'll get something coming. I won't know what everybody needs unless you tell me, so we'll be able to have some of our own supplies. Did that answer your question, or?
Yeah, just, 'cause on the weekends, if we'd happen to run out of paper, I'd like to
Right,
have some, and so I was gonna see if I could take an extra bundle, but if,
Yeah, and you can always take it and you can replace, we do that for people too.
Okay.
And then we can also, if you want to be the point of contact, I can get you added to the Amazon account. There's one person in every department too.
okay.
If you need something on there.
We have something set up with somebody else, but we can have another one, that's okay.
Yeah.
So. All right. So let me know if you need something and we'll get it coming. Any questions?
my pickup's getting a little old, is there a dollar amount?
Well, we'll see if they offer something like that, I guess. I don't think they do, but.
I got one thing. Yesterday, Lindsay, Melissa, myself, had a Zoom meeting with Heartland and Holmes Murphy. Mark had brought up at one point that we need to change the values on some of our places. So we discussed the schedule that we have, or the statement of values. So secondary roads and conservation is probably gonna hate me. But they gave me, I'll just go over like the top couple here. So currently, what we have listed and what we've had listed for the courthouse is $8.5 million of value. According to like their CBIZ replacement cost, we're at like 10.978. So basically, the numbers that we have on here, if there was an event that we have to replace everything, the 8.5 isn't gonna cost what we have here. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna email this out to all departments, if you can take a very good look at what's yours. So on the one sheet for the building, so you'll have to have the expense there, and then the next column is contents. So that's gonna be, since there's also a vehicle one, we wanna make sure that those add up correctly. But on the contents, so she phrased that as, take out the vehicles, you tip your building upside down, what would fall out? So the supplies, I know there's a lot of equipment that's not vehicles that are in there, that we wanna make sure that we can put down. I don't know, I'm gonna use an example, so secondary roads in Riceville, like the contents are 12,000. I would guess there's probably more than $12,000 worth of stuff in there. And then we're also gonna have to contact like each of the departments here, because currently we have like $1 million listed for the courthouse. I would guess all of our stuff in here is probably more than $1 million. But, so we'll have to get that filled out. If at all possible, if we can get it done in like 2 weeks. I know it's kind of putting us, but to get it to them. So
Where did you get the courthouse values? At CBiz or what?
she sent me a sheet. I don't know where that comes from.
A year and a half ago, me and that guy went around to each building that was over $50,000. And he took measurements and looked inside and came up with a value on a spreadsheet, that computer program that they had. So that's how all the values came up. And of course, it was on the inflation when everything was up on building costs, so.
Well, I know there's other sites that give you the square foot
Yeah.
prices. I guess I just don't know what they were using.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll send this sheet though too with it, just to see what they have down for amounts, but.
It all started when that glacier went through southern Iowa and all those counties down there were underinsured, just like in
Everybody.
business or any house is underinsured now, but do you raise it now and then lower it later when it goes down, or if the building gets totally destroyed, you still have contents inside that, unless it's completely, but chances of every building getting hit are pretty slim. But it'd probably be good to look at.
So for the supervisors, you need us to figure out.
If you have a
what
good
our-
amount to help in here, like contents wise, just in our office, I figured we'd ask each department and kind of add it
That's why
together.
we need to know what our desks are worth and what this computer is worth.
Yeah,
Really,
So it's
okay.
more of a replacement value then.
that would all go under contents. And then, yeah, so then the building is like So like the maintenance shop, that's the building, there's like toilet and sink in there. I think that's about all that's in there. That all goes in building, and then the rest, which we'll have to get with home health, because I know they're supplying a lot of stuff up there, and get that for contents.
So Tom, the chair, are you gonna send me a document to fill out?
Yeah,
or-
so I'll send a copy of this, it's a spreadsheet, you'll just have to, for us, we all kind of go under the courthouse, so I'll add, you give me a quantity, but as far as like conservation, secondary roads, see home health is on here.
Now, this is for main shop, or are you talking like, you want like shelters and?
All of it,
If they're over $50,000, they have a price on that.
Like
yeah, that
that
would help.
maintenance shop there in your guys' shop, the tools have to be included.
That would be the
Yeah.
content part, yep.
So like you want them to provide you with an itemized list of their inventory then, is that what they?
I don't know, I just need like a dollar amount to put on. So we have we have inventory that we go through every year, but that doesn't really have a number on there. And values have changed so much that it's outdated, I guess. And a lot of, on the sheet that she had given, the dates are from like 2016 and they're pretty old. Yeah. There are a few that got added in 22, which would have been the Hoffman House, Pitson cabin, and the maintenance shed. Otherwise, there's like a 2008, 13, 16. There's a couple 21s and a 20.
Each year, should those values just maybe be increased just
A little bit,
like
yeah.
2% or, whatever the CPI could be, because that's probably what is gonna reflect on everything else. So once you have it, just an automatic increase or not. Then we have to do this every year, you just put 2% or whatever it is on everything and just.
Do they do depreciation on, have you noticed?
They did depreciate some of it as years going on, but like we didn't have that fuel tank and shop in St. Ansgar, we had the old shop price on there,
Yeah, we have.
quite a difference.
So we'd probably be better off, like Rich says, maybe raising it and let them do the depreciation if that happens, right?
You're talking replacement costs though, correct? Or not depreciated cost?
Yep, so you need,
So you need the actual value of this replacement cost.
yeah.
But
And
what
then-
I'm talking about, if we do it every year,
Yeah, you see you'd add 2%, you wouldn't depreciate it.
well, no. because
Well,
the
add
insurance
2% of the
company will do
value,
that.
and they've still depreciated, right?
Yeah,
Sounds like a plan.
Sounds like a lot of work.
Anything else?
There's one thing on department head, me and Mike went and talked to the main run, and we went to talk to CRC lady. The CRC is not gonna do it anymore. They suggested Gail do it from that START program, START Trail in St. Ansgar. And I talked to Gail yesterday, and she doesn't have time or doesn't wanna do it. So the main is no longer.
Okay.
She's very upset because brought a lot of money into Osage and St. Ansgar, and CRC doesn't want to do it. So you don't have to worry about that anymore.
Just because of the liability, you don't want to do it, or?
just that
CRC don't want
she
to.
don't have time, she says, or the manpower to do it.
Gail would like to, but CRC lady had no interest in it.
Oh, that's too bad.
It's the director.
Okay.
All right. Anything else?
Jim, I got one.
Yes.
So, Conservation Board meeting tonight, probably might be next week or at least a week after. The board's gonna request, possibly request from the supervisors an ordinance on the mitigation bank that we have out there. It's something that's been recommended by our Snyder and Associates, our engineer. Basically, we need to put an ordinance on it so we can continue to sell our credits to other municipalities and stuff that's being recommended so that we get that put in place. So I've got a draft that we're kind of working on. We'll pass it on to Aaron, the county attorney, so he can go ahead and get it all taken care of legally wise. Then we'll be bringing it to you guys as a request. But I just want to make sure you guys are aware that's kind of coming down the pipe. So that's all I got.
Okay, so when you propose that to us, you'll put it on the agenda as far as specifying that
Yep.
we're gonna go through that, okay?
So I hope to be here next week with it, but it all depends on Aaron's schedule, if he's able to read through the language and everything, so.
Okay.
And then if it's good, we'll try and bring it next week or at least a week after, but we'd like to get all this in place by March, first part of March, that way when, March and April is when we'll start selling credits, that's usually the busy season for selling credits, because projects are starting to go out, so we want to kind of have that ordinance in place before then. So every other county conservation and city that has wetland banks, they're doing the same thing, it's just, we need to have that in place, and it's just recommended.
Okay. Any other department head discussion? Okay, engineer update.
Morning.
I said I was gonna get this to you also. Those are documents that the
Yeah, I think this is the
contractor
one
sends
that's
out,
been filled
bonding
out already.
documents, what that is.
Yeah, I completed this one, they're just.
Is that the same
It's
one?
Heartland's, yeah, I think I
Oh,
just
okay, I thought
got,
maybe it was.
well, no, wait, I think the one you had me before was Wicks.
One was Hickory and the other one I
Yeah.
thought was.
This one I gotta get, yeah, there's some things we gotta close out on that. On the agenda, we have the co-op agreement that we talked about last week. I kind of informed you on the updates of what was changed in there. So in review, they took out, in the verbiage of the original one, they took out the actual engineering services contract that the DOT has with HDR. They didn't feel that that was needed in the document, and they added again, they added a servability clause and a non-discrimination clause in the new document. I think everything else stayed the same. In summary, all it's saying is we're gonna pay the consultant our fair share for the raise grant document, and then we are going to, we're also agreeing that Clay County, I think it's Clay County, Clay County is the grant submitter. They're the ones that are gonna be the lead on it. Instead of getting 8 or 9 different applications, we're gonna get one from the state of Iowa through Clay County, I think it is. And the funds will still be distributed to the counties as needed if we get the grant. So we're agreeing to that. That's the 2080 agreement between everybody else. So nothing has changed. So if we can probably get a new signature, I can get the signature sheets uploaded and then they can get that in the new grant document. We are in review right now with that document, so I'm going to be spending the next few days going through the information that we have on our bridge to make sure that it's as complete as it can be and describes our situation for the county. And then that's supposed to be done Thursday. Then they'll review it. We'll submit it. The county, they're going to have what's a January map? Submission is February 28th. We're going to be, all the counties are kind of invited to go down to Des Moines to the ISAC office where the Iowa County Engineer Service Bureau is. But everybody's together and we go through the whole document one last time before we hit submit that afternoon. So we're getting close. Like I said, we don't know whether we're getting anything or not, but there's a lot of work put into it. I'm hoping we get the money we need to do the bridge, but so if we can get new signatures on that agreement, that would be great.
Okay. I have a question in regards to the motion to make. We can read off what it says as far as as far as approved 2080 cooperative agreement. Do we need to include the resolution number to that also, Rachel, as far as, because there's a resolution associated with it?
It is.
It's 1153-23.
Yep.
So whoever makes the motion, just, you can say what's on the agenda, but then just include relating to resolution 1153-23. I'll accept the motion.
I'll make a motion to approve 2080 cooperative agreement for rebuilding American infrastructure with sustainability and equity raise grant project 1153-23.
Okay. Myers made a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Henderson seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing none.
Roll call, Mark.
Aye.
Mike.
Aye.
Sydney. Jim.
Aye.
Patty.
In a rush to submit for the next grant opportunity that I informed you of last week, I have in our program right now, the DOT program isn't complete yet. Still working through FM dollars and finding out where our budgets and stuff are with farm market dollars, state transportation money, and bridge funds. I had a brief conversation with the mayor of Stacyville and told him that I think this would be a good opportunity to put a project in the city of Stacyville. The requirements are for this new grant that it needs to be a FM extension, which is, an extension is usually in the population under 5,000, but 500 is where, the population under 500 is where the county gets involved. Out of all the towns we have, with farm to market extensions through them, Statesville seems to be the most opportune location to get a grant. So I completed a project, well, I estimated a project to, first of all, do the east and west farm to market extensions in and out of town. So on A23 both ways, and then on the monument through town. In addition, I added monument from 218 north into town. If we're gonna do stuff in town, it might make sense to try to get as much money as we can to do the next stretch of road that needs to be done. I considered going west out of town. I think that we'll lose Monument Avenue before we lose I know it's rough going west out of town already, but I think that because there's asphalt coming south into town, that we will probably lose that road quicker than we lose the other one. In addition to that, I kind of took it a little further, and in the document that we submitted, kind of indicated that we may, I said, depending on funding and everything else, we may pave shoulders on that. The reason for that, one, is to reduce the amount of shoulder work we do every year on those roads. It's a pretty heavily traveled truck route, and it seems like we're always pulling shoulders in on the road. I think it's a 24-foot wide road anyway, but no matter how wide it is, it seems like we always have to pull shoulders up. So to possibly pave them, and for a second reason, if I can indicate that it could be technically for, the bonus of the paved shoulders could be for any sort of other recreational use. If we get it wide enough, you could, not necessarily say it's a marked bike trail, but it could be used for other purposes. So whether or not we do that, I don't wanna, we're still in the early stages of applying for the grant. But I mean, to me, I think that we can, or we don't have to pave the shoulders, but if we put it in there, there might be an opportunity that might show up better for us if we decide. I know we don't have bike routes in the area specifically, but if the shoulders are widened, that route could be looked upon as a possible tie in between a route somewhere. I mean, it's all preliminary right now, but I didn't want to stretch the truth. We could pave shoulders and call it a safety thing because we're always pulling up rock, but there could be a secondary benefit. And I did label that in the document that said, if we can afford to do that and if there's proper purpose, because we are going into town, it could be a possibility to widen shoulders. So I did tell the city, I said, I don't know where this heads, and I know you guys don't have a lot of money to do things right now, but I included the fact that we would have to do curb and gutter probably, and they've got all their valves and manhole covers and everything else that are gonna have to be affected by that. Haven't really decided yet what we're gonna do with the surface if we go into town, but just so you guys are aware, it's been submitted, and I put for the city work, I think I estimated, and because we don't do a lot of city work, I kind of, hopefully I estimated big at about $2 million just for the city work, because you've got infrastructure underneath. You're gonna have to have survey done and everything else. Now, we can't use survey in the cost for the grant. All the engineering's gonna have to be local dollars, but whenever you get involved with curb and gutter and utilities, you've got to have extensive survey to make sure everything matches back up again. So there's gonna be costs when they do that in construction. There's gonna possibly be, removal and reconstruction of a lot of things just to make things flow again.
Now, I don't know if we'll get it. I've got 2 projects in the program right now. One is Monument Avenue, just coming up to the city limits, programmed for fiscal 25, I think, or 24, I can't remember. And then I also have the Monument Stretch plus those that farm to market extension stuff in town as another project. So depending on if we get the grant, I can pull one project that saves our farm to market fund, and then we can do more work with, if we can get Monument from 218 to the city covered under the grant, that's several $1 million that we don't have to provide through our farm to market account. It's probably still an 80-20 split, but $1 million versus $5 million is a good deal for the county. So I submitted something to that effect. Whether or not there's going to be a committee that's going to evaluate things, we'll look at it and see whether we fall into it or not. It's just going to be like the bridge thing. It's just a matter of throwing an idea out there and seeing if we can do something with it. But I mean, if we're going to do that, they wanted to know if the project could be done in the next 2.5 years. I wasn't at the city council meeting. I think they had it last night, but I think the mayor said he was going to try to inform the council that something was happening. So going to be a lot of coordination there too. I know our 2080 agreement with the city says we give you the farm to market extension money, and in return with that money, you guys take care of everything outside the 22-foot wide road, 24-foot wide road, whatever it is. You use that money to fix stuff outside of that section. The county still takes care of the paved surface. Well, it also states, I think, in the 2080 that when it comes time for major reconstruction, then you have another 2080 agreement. And that 2080 agreement can be agreed upon by the board and the city council as to whether or not the city pays anything or pays a portion. So there's opportunity there to have more discussion, but just so you know, we did submit a project, and I thought it would be best to try to get as much money as we can. So I added the stretch of road going south to it.
Do they look at it's in the 5-year plan, so this grant people, do they look that it's in your 5-year plan to be doing this? And
because I'm putting it in and we haven't submitted our 5-year plan yet, and we don't know when the NOFO is coming out. We know it's going to be in March. By the time they get everything with the grant submitted, everything, it'll be, hopefully it's probably, depending on timing, it'll probably be May before they even look at applications. I don't know how fast they're trying to do this, but we submit our plans in mid-April. So there's a good chance it'll already be in there. And if I'm programming it, then we should be okay. But this was very preliminary, very just the skin of the fruit application. They didn't even they want to know a route, but they don't have any idea what's all included. They just said, is it going to include this, 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 and this? Yes.
You may have said it, but maybe, and I may have missed it, sorry, excuse me if I missed it. One time we were talking about underground work for the city of Statesville, if that was all completed?
I did ask them that. I said, how are your utilities under these roads? Because I don't want to go and put a new pavement down, and then in a year we're digging up something that failed. So I got the impression that they were caught up with their infrastructure. May need more discussion with the city. I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves and start planning, but it's things to think about in case we would get the grant. So that's just for your information. Also, in Worth County, we were having equipment issues, and we've been renting a John Deere motor grader for the wintertime because our old Volvos have been kind of temperamental. We're renting a John Deere right now. We have the option to purchase that machine at the end of the season, and our rent for that machine will go towards the purchase of the machine. So nothing to do with you guys, but in all fairness, I asked Cat if they had a machine that was also readily available. When we were renting, they didn't have anything, but it just so happens that when I called him last week, they have a brand new machine, a new Cat, available, and its available price is before the price hike. The John Deere we're renting right now, that machine last year would have been $70,000 to $80,000 cheaper, but because of the supply chain and everything else, prices have gone up significantly, and that machine reflects it. What we're running over there right now is a 772 GP, which is a 6-wheel drive machine with grade control, and it's in the high fours, high $400,000 value. The reason I'm talking to you right now about it is because I have my name on 2 machines for the option to buy. It seems to me that the crew in Worth County really is, for some reason, our cats over there seem to be more temperamental than they are over here, and we have one John Deere there now, and they seem to like it. So I have the option here now to purchase a cat motor grader for significantly less than what we're ever going to see again. This is a 2022 model with 11 hours on it. It's a cat 150, and we're never going to see a price that we're seeing it again. It's under $400,000. It's a big machine. Same frame as what we're running, same engine. The only difference is with computer programming, they've got the machine boosted with horsepower and everything else. Plus they've got heavier pins and stuff because it's got more horsepower. So it's a 150. He gave me a price quote of $395,000, which is, it's a lot of money, but we're going to need to continue to keep going on upgrading our equipment. Just in perspective, this one's $395,000 and the one we're working is $471,000. We aren't going to see a deal like this again. I know the machine's a little bit bigger than we're running, but if we ordered a machine now, we will never see that price on anything we're running, and we aren't going to see it for months. So I haven't made up my mind yet. I wanted to discuss it with you guys first. No discussion or no decisions can be made, but we have budgeted for next year equipment, and I did, and I know the budget's not complete yet, but I had put in $750,000 into the equipment budget next year just because we're going to need equipment. We haven't bought any for a while. We're going to start needing trucks here soon, and we might look at a different manufacturer there too. But this is one of those things that fell into the lap real quick, and the price is almost unbelievable. We're never, like I said, I don't think we'll ever see prices that way again. So
Does it have snow equipment on?
it will have everything but a front V plow.
And that's that price. That's the price.
And we can outrig a V plow in a hurry. And if all we need to do is actually just change the front lift group on it to what we are running now. So, and I don't think he even included, he said he can get you any lift group he wants for this price, I think. So, I mean, more discussion needs to take place. This is just an FYI for you guys that there's an opportunity here I don't want to really miss up. I mean, he's got it reserved for me in whichever county I need it.
When do you need to know by?
I don't know, I still got some time yet, but I don't want to wait too long because if it just came up, what it was an order for somebody else that they didn't, I think what happened was they didn't take ownership of it, so they had it on their lot. Kind of a lucky us deal in my opinion, but.
Do you have anything else that you have to purchase this year? You know,
well, we're going to start looking at probably trying to put in, well, we're going to look at probably another mower of some sort, another roadside mower. We've talked about getting a track skid loader because the wheel skid loader got really small. What we thought about was we've got a John Deere tractor in the yard that we use with forklifts and things like that. We thought about, since we already own the tractor, it's got low hours on it, we may try to outfit that with a mower, a roadside mower, bring the cost down. But we also our boom mowers are really getting old. We're almost to the point where that's getting difficult to rebuild, and I don't think we can find parts for the spray sections that come in. They've got hollow shafts and stuff to run chemical through. I don't think those are available anymore. They've got a new system anyway if you want to apply spray to the mowers. But so we're looking at those types of equipment right now, possibly a different trailer for the semi. The one we have now it's okay. It's got a high center of gravity, but I think with the way things are going and with serviceability on some of our equipment anymore, for instance, we bought a new trailer in Worth County. We had to take a motor grader up to get repaired, and instead of driving it up there, which we couldn't do, or paying somebody to haul it, we have a drop deck low boy a detached that we hauled it up ourselves, saved ourselves some money. So we can have those opportunities too, instead of driving a piece of equipment up there and then having to, spend that time on somebody coming back. We can have one person take something up, but that's all. projected right now. And then also we're thinking about a dump truck for the fleet, so. But obviously our budget right now, if I'm looking at it properly, it looks okay. And we can always work with the dealership on whether we pay for this motor grader this year or the following year, so. Just food for thought, think about it. I don't want to let this one get away too easily, and I don't want him to start twisting our arms, but at least we have a discussion on it. One final thing, we've been looking for concrete forms for a while. We borrowed kind of a weird deal. Worth County was borrowing concrete forms from a contractor in Worth County, and he let us borrow them here. But for concrete patching, the 2x4 or the 2x lumber, it doesn't always last very long. We found a person selling some concrete forms that look pretty heavy duty. He's got all types of sizes that we could use. So we may be purchasing some used forms. Rachel have to probably try to see if we can work with an individual to get an invoice first before so we can have a check to give to them when we pick up. But we need to look at the stuff first, find the straight ones and the good ones.
Are they like steel?
Yeah, they're steel, yep. We'll probably have to buy form pins for them, but steel forms don't come up for sale very often, but they're more reusable than wood. And so I think they give you a better riding surface when you're done doing a patch because it won't bow like a metal board could. So just some FY stuff. If you start seeing bills like that, we'll have that come through. So that's all I've got for you. To the sheriff, he was not here, but no, we don't have the snow equipment off yet because I think we're not fully in spring yet. Although it feels nice.
On that, with that grader, it's a pretty good price, but is there any chance that you could look at a skid loader through them and maybe
Sweeten the deal or something?
Yeah.
We could. I don't think they're gonna wanna tie, I don't know, I guess I can ask the question if there's a way to do that.
I don't want to jack the price of the grader.
I mean, if we don't take this, then it'll be gone in a hurry. So I don't wanna really, but you're right, yeah, maybe we can find a deal somewhere. But we get government pricing, there's probably not much more they can bring down on price now. I will say that when we bought 10 motor graders from them several years ago, they did give us a better than government discount. When you're buying 10 motor graders at one time, that's a heck of a deal for them too. So I can ask that question.
Did you get any responses on paint pile?
No. Did anybody want to continue that? I know, Mark, it was kind of your idea to start it. Do you think you still want to?
Like, I didn't know we could reply to those emails and ask people.
This is more of that kind of request is just more of an opinion, and then maybe it's just, maybe we should bring it up and talk about it, but it's kind of a aftermarket thing. It's not anything that we really are spending money on as a county. It's just something fun for the community to do. So I don't think it's any severe action because it doesn't have anything to do with our budget or our program. So it's really not anything we're spending money on directly. But if you guys want to continue to do it, we can. I just think now's the time to start letting schools know if we're going to do something because they need to
Get it
plan.
done before 4th of July.
Plan, yeah. Because they usually, it seems to me lately that we've only done it a couple of years and it seems like they wait last minute. And then a lot of the times it's the senior class that's probably doing it and they're in a hurry to graduate early or get out of school early, and then it's just kind of popped together.
Did you give them a category last year to do? Or
I think we kind of came up, I maybe had come up with a general one, but I think it's good to come up with some different things. I think school pride was last year's. And if you want
Yeah, I thought that.
Make it more
talked about that.
entertaining.
Come up with
Wanna
a
come in?
theme.
so.
It's a color.
Food for thought. We don't have to make the decision today, but I sent the email out because I was just going through some other documents and here's another thing. I think I was going through the Adopt a Highway, and then it was when I did a search, and the search came up with paint a plow too, and I had kind of forgotten about it.
I had 2 calls on those overweight permit roads.
Mm-hmm.
How are you doing on that?
We still have to get the bridges evaluated. We do have certain routes, and I guess they can call me too. I've had a couple calls too and kind of explain to them where we're at, but this isn't gonna be something we're just gonna throw out there so people can drive on all the roads, because we still need to make sure the bridges can take the loads. And it's about whether or not the bridges that aren't posted can take the oversized loads. They need to be evaluated. Any bridge that's posted now, you're not gonna get it evaluated and it's not gonna get any stronger. So there's very few routes that we're gonna probably be able to add that have bridges on it. So we're still working on it. We've got till, I think, fiscal 25 to be completely compliant, but we can start looking at some gravel roads to add to the system too. But right now we've got the truck detour around Osage here, and then we've got up on Lancer, or not Lancer, but past the Fault Quarry and over to 218. That's a route that doesn't have any structures on it that we can open up right away. But
We're just starting to think about hauling grain, and they want to know about the permits.
right now, they're still under I think the governor extended the proclamation, so they're still under that. They're still covered under the proclamation for the harvest yet. I don't know if that's 12%, but it's still an increase in overload or overweight.
So it's up to 90,000, ain't it?
Yeah, that was last. This way they can buy a permit for $500 and go to 90,000.
All 90,000 all the time, right?
Yeah. Right now, though, I think they're at 90,000 and they don't need a permit because of the proclamation.
Yeah, I didn't know that was still going on.
Yeah, they keep extending it. I think it's because of this overweight or annual overweight thing. So, to my knowledge, they can run on all the state highways. I think they're open. But we've got to make sure that we're safe. I mean, they can't go over a posted bridge. They can't overload their axles. They can only run certain weights with standard axle weights still in effect. But I've had a couple calls too and explained to them where we're at. So.
Question about surveillance cameras. That's come up a few different times for your
Surveillance or security?
security or surveillance or whatever. So is this something that you want, or?
I haven't requested it, no.
Pardon me?
I have not made the request.
All right.
I just know it's been come up in discussions before.
I know the safety committee is, I don't know, I'm not part of the safety committee, but I just, I don't want the safety committee to decide that you're gonna have surveillance, security cameras, and you need to be part of the input as far as why they would be placed there.
Right.
Where they would be placed. I mean, it's an expense to the county, and I want a justification as far as why we would be spending the money, so.
Right. No, I think that's on the security meetings agenda today to discuss, but I have not put a request in to have cameras. There could be benefit, but right now I don't see, if it's about security and our lot in the back where we have pipe stockpiled and other things. To my knowledge, we don't have any loss of materials there yet that worry about it, but I know there's always the what if, and I know our fuel tanks are shut off at night. The thing that, the bulk storage, of salt and sand or the pipe and stuff like that is about the only thing that people get into unless they want to start tearing into buildings and whatnot.
Okay. So
we haven't had that happen in the past that I know of, so just a matter of whether the expense of the equipment and everything else is a benefit or not.
So, I just want you to weigh in on that if that starts to happen, and we're just looking at Osage, we're looking at Osage, St. Ansgar, Statesville, Riceville, we're looking at conservation also. I mean,
that's something that probably will be brought up.
Okay. All right.
I should have asked Greg while he was still here, just because the question was posed last week about a reason. And his comment was that they always help if something were to happen. Because I asked, is there any purpose for like the courthouse, home health, sheriff's office? You have it ahead of time to help, basically, is kind of what he said.
Well, I think the courthouse has it because they have a court here.
Yeah.
Right.
But like, no, there hasn't been any issues there. They're trying to, if something did happen, there's cameras. Not to tell you everything, but give you a little.
Right.
Was his only comment, but
Well, it's always,
not that that helps or not helps.
Yeah.
it's always a what if. I mean, you could what if everything. And I've said at one time about stop signs, people can request a stop sign at an intersection, but is it really, because one individual wants a stop sign at an intersection, is there a history of accidents or whatever happening at that intersection? So you need to justify why you're doing it because there's money being spent to be doing it. That's where I'm going with this.
Yep.
Is there a reason why we want to do this? So does it justify the expense?
That's all.
Anything else?
Yeah, I have one question. I had an individual, apparently he wants to cut some trees or whatever out of his grove. Can he pile them in the ditch and burn them? Is there an ordinance or?
You know, it seems that
I mean, people do it.
if people do it,
He just wonders if there's a,
I don't,
you know, because he says, well, the county does it. so-
we do it because it's our right of way to maintain, and they're usually our trees.
Yep.
It's better if they pull them on their own property to do that, because a lot of times, and this sounds weird, but a lot of times if they don't clean up the ash when it's done, then it could potentially cause water flow problems or clean up when they're done, not all the stumps get burned up. Now you got stumps in the ditch.
That was his comment too. When the county does it, a lot of times they leave.
Well, and
stumps.
that shouldn't happen either. If we've got stumps, we should be picking that stuff up. I know a lot of times it's like, okay, it'll biodegrade eventually, it's good, but if it's in a drainage area, it shouldn't be kind of.
I don't know if it's a problem. He just brought up the
But
question.
have them call me. I don't know that we have an ordinance that says that. And as long as it's being done right away and picked up, cleaned up after themselves. I just know that if it's a right away thing, I don't know, do we get into liabilities? I mean, somebody drops a tree in the right of way and then they get hurt. Is it our liability? I wouldn't think that it would be, but you know, it's just, people have burn piles in the ditches and
They do.
and everything else. I guess I would say on the record, I'd prefer that they burn them on their own property. I'm gonna guess, are they trees on the right of way line or are they in their yard? I don't think that they should be cutting trees that are way within their yard, dragging them out to the ditch to burn. That probably wouldn't be proper. If they're on the right of way line and that's where they gotta fall the tree, then it might not be as big of a deal, but I don't want the right of way to just be everybody's dumping ground for, you know, okay, now they're gonna burn trees, now they're gonna start, because really, to be honest with you, I don't think that this is, it's something that started for a long time where people start making burn piles and ditches and.
They do. I mean, you see them.
Yeah, and probably 50 years ago, that should have been put the kibosh to, but it hadn't been. So now you start one little thing and you let it go, and then pretty soon it becomes habit and things like that. But
Yeah, I can't see this guy making a mess. He's just.
no, and I know that it happened. I know that, you know, when the tornado came through last year before, whenever that was, you know, trees fell, you burn them in the ditch and you take care of it. As long as, I guess, I would prefer that they're on their property, but I would also, if it happens, I'd really like them to clean up after themselves.
Okay. Okay, I can call Ryder. I can have him call you too.
And I'm gonna assume they're probably more on gravel roads than highways. I wouldn't want them to be
He's a
burning
gravel road person.
next to them, so. Yeah.
Okay.
Unless you guys don't, you know,
Yeah, he was.
I'm a little lenient on some of that stuff. I just don't want it to be everybody's
Everybody.
burn pile is now the right of way.
Yeah. That's what I thought. That's what he wanted to know if there was an ordinance or.
We do it because we do it because we're not allowed by the DNR to haul the trees off and burn them somewhere else.
You're not.
No.
Okay.
We were told, we got in trouble for it once.
Oh.
We were bringing them back to the yard and burning them, and they said, you can't do that. You gotta burn them where you cut them.
Oh. Well, that makes
And
sense.
some of it might have had to do with the ash borer, but I mean, if you're in the same county, I don't know how that has anything to do with it. But it was transporting to burn. They didn't like that. I don't know. It's not here now, but
Like after you burn, if there's stumps or whatever, do you guys go back and clean them up?
we should.
You should.
I don't know if that hasn't happened or not. I know they try to burn it down to nothing, but
Yeah.
sometimes stumps just don't.
Yeah, or bigger logs, so.
Because that's probably no different than having a big rock in the ditch when somebody is an errant vehicle running off the road, but
Yeah. They ain't supposed to do that either, right? Dump them in the ditch.
you know,
Okay.
Any other questions for the engineer?
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Rick.
thank you.
Environmental health update.
as quick as possible with this, because I've got water tests that are scheduled here soon. So to start, I'm gonna start with, the 12 weeks that I'll be gone. I gave you guys the job listing. You all should have a hard copy, I would hope. And I guess we kind of need to look that over and determine, number one, we want to put a committee together that is shared between the Board of Supervisors and the Board of Health. We already have 2 individuals from the Board of Health who have, I guess, said that they want to be on this committee, so we would need 2 from the Board of Supervisors to want to be on that committee for the hiring process of someone for the temp hire, I guess.
Mark and Mike, you worked with CRC, so Cindy and Todd, would you like to be on that? I'm not gonna be available, so I'm gonna bow out of it. Would you 2 be willing to do that, or
Yeah, I'll try that.
Cindy?
Okay, I'll just write your guys' names down. Okay, so that's the first item of business. The second one would be, I guess, the determination of what their starting wage would be. You guys set those prices, so we would need to have some sort of idea, so that way I can put that on the cover page for it. It was suggested by the Board of Health to do $15 an hour. So I don't know if you guys want to match that, or
What's the board think?
I have to at least start there.
Yeah, I wouldn't go last. I mean, that's, because you won't gonna get anybody.
Cindy?
Yeah.
Todd? Okay.
Okay.
That sounds good by this board.
perfect. So my plan is, unless you guys have questions or opposition to it, my plan would be to get that posted either today or tomorrow. I would like to get someone hired, because even though it is a temp position, there is quite a bit of training that is required with this job. So I would want to get someone hired and get them in as soon as possible. So is there any opposition to posting that either today or tomorrow?
Where are you gonna post it at? How are you gonna do it?
Well, I think Rachel or Paul can put it right directly on the website. And then Mitchell County Environmental Health has a Facebook page, so I would put it there. And then I can reach out to Economic Development as well and have them share it on their
Put it on the
pages.
And then
bulletin
just
board?
put it on the board upstairs.
And on the board
So
upstairs.
legally, I think it has to be posted there for 10 days. And that's all the minimum requirement.
Okay, so yeah, and then on the board upstairs.
Okay.
So multiple places,
Great.
but yeah. So, okay, sounds good. My next thing is my water test promotional update. So, you guys may not know, but I'm gonna pass this around. I have been sending postcards out to individuals out in the county with private wells. And there's a total of roughly 1,800 postcards that are sent out, or will be sent out. I'm not doing them all at once just because I don't want to overload with postage on our machine upstairs, and I also don't want to overload my office with phone calls to get these scheduled. But realistically, we're already making a profit off of this promotion, just due to the Grants County reimbursements that we get for it. So to give you an idea, if we had 1,800 postcards sent out, postage right now is 48 cents a postcard upstairs. So that's $864. That sounds like a lot, but the postcards themselves were $210.73. Thank you. The Grants County program reimburses per test for the cost of the test, and then they also do $60 on top of that for administrative costs. So we're looking at $88 per water test that I take in the county that's being brought back to the department. Grants County also reimburses for promotional advertising, so that means that the initial $210 that I spent on the postcards themselves will get reimbursed to us. So pretty much the only money that we have to make back is for the postage. At $88 a water test, you're looking at 10 tests that I have to take. I have scheduled, well, I scheduled one while sitting back there, waiting for my turn to talk. So, and I'm booked out until, the first week of March on water tests. So I don't think I've ever been booked out that far. People are calling, people want their water tested. I think it's a really great promotion, that we're running right now. So, but, as of the Board of Health meeting on Friday, I had 20 tests either conducted or scheduled, which puts us at almost a $900 profit through the Kansas County program. So we've already pretty much doubled what we need, I guess. So I just wanted to give you guys that update that my office is working really hard to try and bring more money in. So sometimes you gotta spend money to make money. So we're doing that. I was really happy about that, so I wanted to share that with you guys. The next thing, in an email that I sent you guys, this doesn't have to be addressed today. This is just kind of putting a little bug in your ear. Mitchell County Ordinance number 8 is very vague. The last time it was signed was April 27th of 1999, and it pretty much just says that we adhere to Chapter 69 of Iowa Administrative Code. It doesn't have any specifics for Mitchell County at all. It just says that we will, adhere to it. Also in that email, I rewrote ordinance number 8 from scratch. I didn't reinvent the wheel, but I did get suggestions from other counties, and I took it from their ordinances and I kind of placed it into a Mitchell County ordinance. So I don't know if you guys want to look that over. I have to send it off to Aaron to have him look over. There may be changes that need to be made, so on and so forth, but just wanted to let you know that I am trying to work on that, so that way the public does have more of an understanding of what Mitchell County requires, because Iowa code sometimes is really hard to understand. So there's that. I'm hosting my annual contractor meeting for all of the contractors that want to install septic systems for the year 2023 on Friday, March 17th at 9 a.m. in this room. So I think we're gonna have a really good turnout. Some of my contractors have given me suggestions on what they think that I should talk about, what they think that would be a good topic to get everybody on the same page with. Also would need to talk to them obviously about the temp hire, kind of go over how that whole situation is gonna be handled with them, who they're going to talk to. So hopefully we can get that kind of hashed out with them, but I'm excited for that meeting.
Amanda, what was that date?
Friday, March 17th at 9 o'clock in the morning. Last month I went to the IOWWA annual conference. It was a really, really awesome conference. It was 2 days and there were a lot of great speakers there. There were topics that I hadn't heard about yet, which was really nice and refreshing. There were some topics that I had heard about, just comes with the territory. Things don't change extremely fast in the wastewater industry, but new technology is always fun to learn about and stuff like that. So I think that was a really good investment to be able to go to that. For the Grants County program, I wanted to give an update on that. We have not been able to submit Q2 claims yet, just because the Grants County site is down. So we're probably going to run into the same situation that we're in this year with my budget, my revenue budget. We're probably going to receive those checks very late this fiscal year or really, really early next fiscal year. So my budget will more than likely be met right away come next fiscal year. And that's just because we physically cannot submit the claims. They've been down. I wish we could, because I just have these papers sitting on my desk that I would like to be able to submit of money just kind of sitting there, but we can't do anything about it. They're working on it, but we don't know when it's going to be done. So just wanted to let you know that the money is there. We're just waiting to submit it, I guess. And then I just wanted to put that a little bug out there that radon test kits are now $11 instead of 10 due to our rising cost to be able to provide them to the people of Mitchell County. So they went up $1, but they're still available. There's still a ton in my office. You can get them at public health as well. And if I'm not here in the courthouse, the auditor's office also carries them as well. So other than that, I know I went kind of fast because I kind of got to get out of here, but do you guys have any questions for me?
Any questions for Amanda? Thank you much.
Yep, sounds great. So if I get any, grabs on this listing, I will make sure to screen them first. So I'm gonna have them sent to my email, and then I will send them to the committee. So that way you guys can review them. But I'll screen them first to kind of go over, key points to look at and all of that kind of stuff. Also, college students are highly encouraged to apply. Highly encouraged to apply. I think it would be a great internship for them. So just wanted to say that. Thanks so much.
Thank you much. Item 8, discussion and possible action on health insurance.
I had added this to the agenda. I just, you guys have previously talked about getting quotes from other places. We just need to approve if we want to accept that we're gonna move forward with them. I know we've talked about other details. We don't need to know the details, just if we want to go with ISAC, we need to let them know by March 1st.
I don't know, I feel that we should stay with ISAC just because we're guaranteed that 5% over under, so we kind of guarantee the price, and I believe that we should probably go with that. There was option 1 and option 2. I think we should go with that option 2 to even the playing field between the two plans. I guess I make a motion to stay with ISAC and go to that.
I don't want a motion yet. I want to have a board discuss stuff. Yeah, but we need to talk about it other than that. I mean, I don't have a problem with making a motion, but, we need to talk about it a little bit, so.
We talked multiple times
Any
about it,
other-
but anyway, whatever, okay.
Any other comments with regards to it, or?
Commented on after the motion, can I in a second on discussion?
Well,
Well, I guess I was just hoping to maybe talk about it, but sure, if you want to have the motion.
I don't know, I just, we've discussed insurance multiple times.
Okay,
And everybody kind of knows.
Technically, I didn't ask for a motion, so.
Okay, it's an action,
So, yeah. But
Okay, well, okay, that's
there's
fine.
been a motion on the table. Let's do it then. Go.
Okay, I'll say, I'll.
Is there a
make motion
second?
to Stay with ISAC and go with that plan too,
Is there a second? I'll second it.
okay.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay, further discussion. I would agree. I want to stay with ISAC, and I would agree. I'm good with option 2. No, excuse me. I'm not good with option 2. I'm good with option 1. So I'm not going to approve to go down that far, reducing the HSA contribution to that extent, because
Well, that's the one that evens it out. That's what they recommended. Would even the.
excuse me. So option 1 evens the plane better than what the renewal actually was. And people need to remember that the 11E is a $5,000 deductible, but the county's buying that down to a $500 deductible, whereas the HSA, those people have a $3,000 deductible. So I'm not going to support option 2. I seconded it simply because I wanted to have discussion, but I won't vote for option 2. Any other discussion?
But Rachel just said that we just had to vote that we were gonna stay with it, that we did not have to pick an option at all. So can we just have a re-motion on just saying that we're gonna just stick with ISACs instead of putting option 2 or option 1 on just yet?
If one wants to withdraw his motion, we can do that.
Well, I know the option 2 made the county cost even. I was just looking at the, the dollars that it costs the county. So the basic plan, whatever, and then option 2 have the same costs to the county That's what I was looking at, with the dollar amount the county has to pay.
No, I'm actually looking for the employees.
Okay.
You know, I'm not thinking of the employees.
Okay.
I'm thinking of both.
Well,
Okay, there's been,
I would just leave my motion as is.
okay, there's been a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none?
Roll call, Jim,
Nay.
Sydney,
Nay.
Mike,
Aye.
Mark.
Aye.
Todd.
Nay.
Okay, motion does not carry. So that basically was a motion that we also are not going with ISAC because it encompasses the whole thing. I will entertain another motion if somebody wants to make a motion that we stay with ISAC or do something differently here.
I'll make a motion that we continue on with ISAC.
Okay. Brian has made a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Barto seconds it. Any discussion?
So when are we gonna set the amounts?
We'll have to have another meeting and discuss it then in more detail.
Sometime we're gonna have to make a decision and not only cut maybe insurance or some other place.
We're gonna need another budget meeting / insurance, I think.
We had those, and all we're doing is, we'll have another meeting,
We'll
sometime,
know more today, won't we, with legislative?
sometime we're gonna have to make a cut.
Well, yeah, that's part of budget discussion, but, yeah, we're going, March 1st is when she said that they need to know what we're going to do, so put it on the agenda for next week as far as insurance discussion. Insurance discussion, possible action. Good. So we've had a first, a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none.
Roll call, Sydney.
Aye.
Todd.
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
Mark.
Aye.
Mike.
Aye.
Okay. Approved fireworks permit. So we have a fireworks permit. To be honest with you, I'm negligent that I did not look at this over that closely. So it has to do with, it's at Stainer's Pasture on July 3rd, 2023. Rain date is July 8th. Flashing Thunder Fireworks is the legal name of the company.
Make a motion to approve the fireworks permit?
Henderson makes a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Brian seconds. Any discussion? Hearing none.
Roll call, Todd.
Aye.
Mark.
Aye.
Mike.
Aye.
Sydney. Jim.
Aye. Budget discussion. There's another thing that just came out recently in regards to what the Senate's gonna decide today, and that they're doing a lot of stuff that's gonna affect us negatively, as Mark indicated. One of them is they're going to adjust levy rates based on the valuation growth of 102.5%. Find that really odd that a levy rate would be adjusted based on that when, say for instance, inflation is 7% and we're only allowed a 2.5% increase in our levy. I mean, it's just a formula that we can't pay the bills. We can't pay the bills that way. So I don't really like what they're doing at all. I sent Waylon an email this morning before the meeting. Board have any comments, or Rachel have any comments, or?
They don't meet till 3:45, so I'd also encourage to send our senator your opinion of it. Jim did touch on the 2.5. They want to consolidate the general basic and supplemental levies as well as the rural basic and supplemental levies. They're gonna limit property tax revenue growth, limit the reasons for adding or additions to basic levies, make adjustments to bonding and leasing thresholds, and add requirements to annual financial reports. And I saw I had an email this morning, I haven't read it, so I'll just read it out to you. They just said further clarification on SSB 1124. They must have had a lot of questions, so their clarification is the consolidation of levies would be to the general basic limit of $3.50 plus additions to basic levies for unusual circumstances found in Iowa Code 331.426 in the base year, plus the supplemental levy for maintenance and operation of the courts in the base year. The supplemental levy would remain except for the ability to include the maintenance and operation of the courts. The additions to basic levies for unusual circumstances would be limited to natural disasters in future years. Similarly, the limit for rural basic would be $3.95 plus additions to basic levies for unusual circumstances found in Iowa Code 331.426 in the base year and only for natural disasters in future years as described above.
We have a number of things, we put the courts in the supplemental levy.
Yep.
We did.
Correct.
So if we're gonna be forced to pull that out, take it into the general basic, that's going to drastically affect what we're doing. And correct me if I'm wrong, before they did all of this, did we put together a budget that was going to work?
Yes.
I thought we did.
Yep. And the auditors have been talking a lot over the last few days, for Rich County residents to understand over half of the counties have a higher than 3.5 general basic levy. So we have maintained that 3.5 where other counties haven't. We have taken, like this year, and what we have planned for next year is keeping, I don't want to say keeping, we have transferred money from local option to allow us to stay at that 3.5. So that is a positive, but then in return, it kind of hurts us going forward, so.
This is what I was gonna pass out last week. I didn't because I just wanted to see what they were going to do down there, and from what we see this morning, they're pretty much doing even more than what they had in the past. And as she said, this year alone, they're gonna allow, okay, let me back up. We put together a budget that was actually gonna work for this year before they started making changes. They're making drastic changes that are gonna drastically affect our budget. And in the code, it does say, and that's the code item that you see right at the first part of it, it does allow us to raise the cap of 3.5 for unusual circumstances. One of the circumstances is what it says is if you're losing your base. They're definitely deteriorating our base with the rollback changes that they're proposing. So to me, that justifies that we can raise that above the 3.5. They're gonna allow us to do that with today's Senate bill. They're gonna allow us this year to raise that 3.5 to what we would need to fulfill the budget that we did for this year. So we could make this year's budget work. This goes away. If this Senate bill happens today, this goes away. So next year, we would be locked into the levy rate based on 102.5% of the previous year's growth rate. So next year, there's probably going to be some drastic changes in restructuring our county, which is not good. But we can make it work this year. Hopefully, my thought is, if we were to do this, hopefully the dust would settle throughout the year and we can have a year to actually figure out what we're going to do rather than a knee-jerk reaction that they're making us do right at this time. And we don't need to make this decision today, but I want you guys to be aware of this, that this is an option that we could do to make things work this year.
One question for Aaron, maybe? I don't know what it takes. I know you guys have to vote on it. I'm assuming probably a public hearing to raise past the 3.5, or do you know that? If they went above the 3.5 general basic levy, the steps to do that? You just do it in the budget process?
Well, I don't know, but I wanted to look because it sounds like what you guys are talking about seems to be pretty reasonable. And so, I mean,
It
I'll
does,
have to look.
it does specify it in 331.426, and I don't believe it is an actual public hearing. I believe it's just a public notice required by section 331.434, shall include the following, and a reason why we're doing it. So I don't believe, there's one, if you're gonna increase Rachel, to answer your question, if you're gonna increase if we created a budget and we're gonna wanna add to that 3.5 after the budget has been created, then it's a public hearing to do that. But in order to do it before the budget has happened, the way I read it, it's just a public notice that we're going to do it.
And would that be covered in the max? That'd be covered in the max levy.
Well, I think the one time we talked that we would do the max levy, and then we know we're not gonna go over the max levy, so we can be under the max levy, so we would actually be able to publicize the max levy. But as long as we're under that when we're done, we're good. I don't know if that answers your question or not, but.
I have it ready. I just, from the way we had a District 2 meeting on last Friday, and everyone is very confident that the original bill is gonna be passed, which brings us till April 30th for the budget. So if that's the case, I don't wanna publish it and then republish if I have to. I was just gonna wait on it. But I'm just gonna use 3.8. If they were raised to 3.8 from 3.5, and it gets published in, like the max levy shows the 3.8 on there, then would that cover it?
I see what you're saying.
I don't know, I'm just,
I don't know either.
an idea. I'll have to look at that.
Okay. You brought up local option sales tax, and they're changing that all over too.
Yes.
It's gonna be statewide, everybody's gonna be at the 7%. And then they're going to create a fund that holds all the money. The Outdoor Recreational Trust Fund is going to capture 3/8 of that penny. And apparently they're going to just give us money how they want to give us money.
They're just give us what's left or not, or.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So they're doing a lot of things I don't like.
They lose. Not quite half 3/8, you know.
Pardon me?
I say you wouldn't quite lose half of it, but you just 3/8 if that's.
They're supposed to be doing that 3/8 of a cent years ago.
Well, we talked about it last year too.
Yeah, but I mean, that was a bill they even passed, but I don't know, they never collected the money or something.
The
To the
people,
Constitution in 2010, that 3/8 was put in the Constitution, Iowa's Constitution, and then whenever the sales tax was raised, it was to trigger that 3/8 of a cent. But it's been 23 years, or not 23, 13 years, and that hasn't gone.
the sales tax was never increased to trigger it. And so now they're raising it and it's triggering it. And I'm all for that fund, but I don't like it being at the sacrifice of county money. I mean, they want that fund. You know, they have this $2 billion, it's 1.9 something billion dollar surplus that they brag about. And then they're doing this to the counties.
I would like to ask if I'm a citizen here, I'm not speaking as county attorney, I'm speaking as a citizen, maybe it's out of turn. Maybe I ought to contact, not that I maybe cares what I think, but maybe we all need to be contacting somebody, saying, okay, for a bunch of you senators and representatives that supposedly care about rural counties, why are you screwing us?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, and that's what I want to know, and if Waylon Brown were here right now, that's what I would ask. Why are you, I don't know, I mean, why is this being done? You talk about how much you care about rural life, how much, and then you do stuff like this. That's upsetting. Sorry, I was just.
No, I agree with you totally, and that's my point too. If you have an urban area, there's multiple people that want to move to urban areas. Industries congregate at urban areas. Industries and people congregate to urban areas. We struggle to get people to come to rural areas, and we try to do things that we can to try and make that happen. This is a drastic change where they're limiting local control. And the state of Iowa doesn't like it when Washington DC implements things to states. They say you're taking away our local control. They're doing no different right now. they're taking local control away from counties. And, I agree with you 100%. I don't understand it. I hate to be a representative in Des Moines and vote on this and then come back home. You know? So,
One auditor from one of the larger counties predicted only 9 of the counties would survive after this, and their county being a larger one, they've been over 3.5 for years still. Just crazy, but.
well, I guess it's just something we need to keep talking about because somebody is detrimentally affecting us and we need to talk about it. I said a lot, I'm sorry, any other comments?
Part of me says that, they don't care. They'll figure it out, you know? Rural Iowa people will figure it out, but I kind of get tired of all this trying to figure it out. And it's the taxpayer doesn't understand themselves.
So, yeah, you got me another comment out of you, sorry. It's a political thing is what it is in my estimation, and people, I don't like paying property tax any more than anybody else does here. And what they're doing is they're making it widely known that they're lowering everybody's property taxes and lowering the industrial levy rate from that, the rollback from 90% down to 80%. Political move that we're doing things to bring people back to this state by having lower property taxes and lower rollback for industry. But they're doing it at the expense of the counties because we can only levy for so much money. And the money we get provides services to the county. I don't think there's any excess that we have in our budget for the people. We pretty much budget for what we need to do. And so I just think it's a political move on their part so that they can get voted in next time. Okay. Anything else?
I do actually, you read that email and talked about the base year. Would that start July 1?
I don't know exactly if the base year is the year we're putting together right now, which would be July 1. I would assume that's how it is, but I don't want to assume. I can look, or I can ask.
Generally, the taxes are a year behind, you know, so if I want to take effect for.
That's what I'm wondering, you know,
No, it's a year behind, yeah.
when that actually is gonna be.
Okay. Discussion of possible action on tablets and hotspots. So we have some tablets and hotspots that are not being used anymore. And we don't need to make any action on it today if you don't want, but I guess I'm just wondering, there's 6 tablets and 3 hotspots. We're paying $40 and a penny per month for those hotspots. I guess this is a call out to any of the departments. Is there any need in any departments for these tablets? And do we really need to be paying monthly fees on these hotspots if they're not being used?
Where are they? Some of them are county roads, right?
I think they're all secondary. I think
Secondary roads.
most of them are.
You need them,
There's
or-
one at all the outlying shops, and then Paul has the spare one here.
I don't know, they're not very big, for like, the tablets aren't very big for maybe us to use for inventory culverts and stuff to use for the sign program. We've got an iPad for that, that's a little bit bigger, so I don't know what function they would serve us, to benefit us, for us to maybe take the tablets we have, paper, whatever. I don't see them, as small as they are, they're hard to probably manipulate anything on for us to do anything with in secondary roads. The hotspots, I guess, we don't probably need them anymore either. They were only put in for the purpose of and so
Would they help for like damage assessments?
Well, I was wondering about that too.
A couple of them anyway.
Yeah, I mean-
Not a hotspot, but.
I know a lot of times when we do have damages, we kind of ask the guys to use their phones to take pictures and things like that. They could be handy for that. Do they function without a hotspot to take pictures and things like that?
The camera part, I'm saying,
What's that?
the camera doesn't need
Okay,
Wi-Fi or anything.
but what they won't capture GPS.
Yeah, the lat long you'd need,
Well, they won't capture that without some sort of
unless you get
well,
an app for it or something that records.
I mean, I guess for that benefit, they could be pretty handy. If we had 6 of them, you get guys going out and locating stuff, that wouldn't be a bad thing. That would help with our tracking system as well, the red sites. I mean, I guess there is an opportunity to use them. I want to hope that our next disaster ain't for years, but I don't know how good they are, for software updates and things like that. I guess there's that benefit.
Any need for the hotspots that anyone can think of?
Hotspots are nice when you go to class, because Wi-Fi typically sucks when you get a lot of people on there, if you're taking a laptop, but
Does it justify the cost though?
yeah, I don't know.
You know?
That, I mean, committee meetings when you go and they don't provide Wi-Fi or, you know, like stuff like that, those, you use a computer, it's really nice to have. But most of them do provide some kind of internet.
Keeping 1 or 2 for something like that, I don't know.
That we could share within the
Right,
whole
just
courthouse.
class and grab one.
Maybe one. I mean, there's
Yeah, I
many
don't
people, multiple meetings going, that kind of thing, or.
I guess I don't probably need it for anything I go to, but.
But on the hotspot, I'm not real up on that, but we used to go on vacation and Jen would get hotspots for the kids that play their stuff. So can we not get it and then somebody goes to a meeting and then buy it for the day, or is it, not really?
A lot of times I'll just use my cell phone hotspot because it's just convenient. It's like a
Yeah.
phone bill.
Okay,
Recur cost,
Yeah.
so you can't like trigger it.
I see.
Paul, you have any comments? Any comments?
To address Todd, it's a service you pay for, so you can't do it for a day and turn it on type of thing. Like Rich said, he uses his phone for a hotspot. I just didn't know if they're being used. It is handy. I have one and I borrowed it out. Rachel a few times when she goes to Des Moines. So having a spare is nice. We have 3 though, so I don't know. Rich can use those or.
We have 3 hotspots, and then yours is the 4th one?
Actually, you know what? We could probably use one for our sign inventory, our iPad. That would be helpful to have that in the vehicle when they're doing it instead of trying to use their own phone or trying to come back and link stuff up later. So one of them would probably be good for us in that aspect.
And then some people may not have hotspot on their phone either.
And to me, I guess if it's costing $40, it might as well be billed to my department. So.
So then we would have 2, would you guys be able to loan them out if needed be, if somebody went to a meeting then, or?
I mean, I wouldn't see the reason if we weren't using it, why somebody couldn't borrow it from us. Because it's not like it's gonna get used every day, but hopefully, I mean, unless we start realizing how handy it is to have, but I think it'd be nice to think about it now. It would be really beneficial to have one when we do our sign inventory stuff. Who knows, we might find other uses for it out and about. But I guess I don't have a problem paying the $40 a month if we're gonna have one for our use, unless you guys wanna take care of the bill, but.
I use my phone stipend in my budget for mine, and I loan it out whenever it's asked for. Rich could do the same with that one.
Does Amanda use her laptop when she goes out and do it in testing, if she using hotspot?
Possibly. Good question.
Well, maybe we just
I think
think
it's good
about
to have,
this a little
we
bit.
take one, because even if when I get an assistant and they're out in the field with a laptop, that's another benefit if we get a spotty area. So
It's a fair service, it's a fair price on a monthly basis, it's just it'd be free. And their resale value is about $30, so we'd have to cancel a line before we would sell it.
Okay.
That would be the steps needed.
So what I'm hearing is there's a possibility of keeping the tablets and then 2 or 3 hotspots. Possibly have one.
I think it'd be better
Maybe have
if we send
one.
one.
There's
Might need
2
one.
left. I mean, if she needs it, I don't know.
I don't know what she uses.
If
She
she,
was using her phone.
Yeah.
if she could use her, or even a tablet, if she could use a tablet and hotspot when she goes out and does her stuff,
Well,
I'd
are
ask her.
the hotspots faster than your phone, or is it the same technology?
Probably about the same, because both Verizon.
Does it kill your battery on your phone if you use a hotspot? I mean, that would be, or if you use a hotspot on your phone, does it kill it faster than using the other? I don't know.
A little bit.
How long you're gonna use it. It's, the guy's out, he might still want to, they probably have the radio still, so they don't need their phone, but just so someone still has their phone, something emergency.
Well, we can keep things as is just for now, and then departments can kind of see if there's a need for them and request to have what you need and get hold of Amanda, see if she has any use for them.
Yeah, I got a call.
If it's a money thing, I wouldn't have a problem with paying
Either,
$40.
that's my will.
Sure.
Yeah,
All right.
do need it.
So it's okay just leaving things as is until we kind of figure things out a little bit?
I think so.
Okay, sounds good. Discussion and possible action on opioid funding. Home Health was wondering, Jessica contacted us and said, they wanted to possibly use it for an ad at the movie theater, and to build the ad and run it was gonna be $329 to do that. I believe it was for a quarter of a year. What's the board's thought?
I think it's probably an okay thing to do.
I think
Yeah,
so.
they say it, but you gotta spend that money on something. It's not like you're wasting it. Otherwise, what are you gonna spend it on? That'd be a good thing.
No, I think it's a real good thing. I mean,
Cindy? So we make a motion, I'm just wondering, I don't know if we should really specify it at $329, because if it comes in at $331, then, so do we want to say something as far as not to exceed $400 or not to exceed $500 or in the motion, and then or thoughts?
I have a couple comments.
Yes.
So we will still do a budget amendment typically in like June, we do, May or June we're doing. So if we do it for this year, or if they're gonna do it right now, it could be something where they pay out of their fund and then we reimburse once we do the budget amendment, so it's in the budget. Or we'll add to the budget for next year. I don't know the timing of when they're gonna do that.
I think they've actually got it running right now.
Yeah, so then it's something that you can do.
But
for
it's something
reimburse.
they do all the time out of their budget, but as long as we have this money, I think it's, you know, they would take, we would supply it instead of coming out of their budget, which we give them. What do we give them? We give them so much every year anyway. The substance abuse coalition board, 1,800, yeah. So I think it's coming out of there. And we're using the opioid money for that also.
We did do that for next year.
Yes, for next year we did, yes. So I know they do have rehab running, so this is maybe for, did she say it was for
Yes,
July? Or
she says they have
say-
they have an ad that's running, but
Yes,
they want a new one.
okay, they want to do,
Oh.
Yeah, they want a new one.
okay. Yeah, because I knew there was an ad running.
Yes, time to get switched over to something new
Yeah. Yeah, you know.
in the next month.
Oh, okay,
So, new here in the next month.
okay.
So, and so she just wants guidance if we're okay with doing that, so that when they have their next meeting, they know if we're good with it.
She said by March 15th they have to have it.
Okay, because it's quarterly, I know. I would be okay with doing it. Like I said, we have that money, we gotta use it for that purpose, and this meets the criteria.
I'll accept the motion for that.
Okay, yeah, I'll make a motion to accept it.
Okay. you want not to exceed part of it in the motion? Rather than,
Yeah.
or just leave it open-ended?
Well, maybe we should not to exceed 500 per quarter, because I don't know how much,
That sounds right.
how much money we get per year.
We get just about, a little bit over 5,000 and 1,800 is committed, so we're totally
So we're
good.
good. Okay, okay, we'll just leave it like that.
Meyer has made the motion. Is there a second? Arto seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing none?
Roll call, Todd,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
Mark.
Aye.
Sydney. Aye.
HVAC pay request. So they did a little bit of work over there. Took some photos of the platform that was constructed, and the junction boxes will not need to be removed. At least it looks like that at this point. They also had installed 2 pumps, and then they also put a concrete pad and mounted a pump. Phone conversation with Andrew indicates that the supplies they're still looking for is an air dirt separator and expansion tanks. And the contractor is targeting to actually start the week of the 20th to get restarted at the construction. That's target. So this pay request that we're looking at is for $59,396.11. Pass that down. I'll accept the motion. Everybody's ready? When everybody's ready? Or if you have any questions about it.
I'll make a motion to do the pay request for the HVAC system.
The mayor made a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Ryan seconds. Any further discussion? And some of the things on that are basically equipment, materials, labor, and we do have an added amount for Woodland controls. So I don't know if they started installing some of that. I wasn't aware of that, but that's kind of the gist of what that amount comes to. So, any other further discussion? Hearing none.
Roll call, Mike.
Aye.
Todd.
Aye.
Mark.
Aye.
Sydney. Aye. Jim.
Aye. Items of note, meetings attended. Metro Soil and Water Conservation District, they brought up a SLU bill, which everybody is eligible for, and board supervisors have not been signing that in the past, which we're supposed to, so I told them that if we're supposed to be doing that, we will be doing that. Talked with Amy and NRCS, part of what we need to do. People are eligible for a tax exemption. They sign up each year. It's a 2-acre minimum, and it's idle land that's not being used for anything. You can't mow it, you can't have cattle on it. That's classified as a SLU. There, in March 2nd of 2023, there's a Floyd County Extension is hosting a Women Managing Farmland program. It's one night for 4 weeks. It's at the fairgrounds in Floyd County. They also talked about supporting the watershed, the Upper Cedar watershed. Upper Cedar watershed is requesting money from everybody to fund them, so the Soil and Water Conservation District stance is they're going to support the watershed, but want clarity on the coordinator position before committing funds and before they've committed $100 to other watersheds. So I would bet that that's what they're going to do for that. Second Judicial is also, that's a corrections facility. That's another meeting I had. They're very upset with what the state's doing, also because the state wants to reorganize the entire judicial community Correctional Services Division. There's 8 divisions right now. They're more based on a community type thing where the counties that are in that region, the state wants to tear that all apart and more or less, in a nutshell, wants it to be a state-run program. They brag themselves that they keep some people out of prison because of some of the things that they do to try to have that happen. I don't know if that's correct, because I just hear their point of view. I don't hear another side of the point of view.
I'd be happy to talk with anybody individually on a lot of these things. There's a lot of things going on the state budget level, on a reorganization of government level that are quite shocking to me in a lot of regards. Very suddenly.
One of the comments that came from them was that there's a supervisor from Story County, I think it is, that is the chair of Second Judicial. Now, a gal, there's a gal, I won't say her name, but she's the director of Second Judicial District. And the correctional director, state correctional director, made it known to all of the judicial district directors and their secretaries that they were not allowed to talk to legislators. Told them, you're not allowed to talk to legislators. That's kind of disturbing, I think. Whether you agree with what they're proposing or not.
I agree.
Yeah. Not good when somebody tells you, no, you can't talk to a legislator. That's all I had.
I had none. I have 3 today, so I'll have an update next week.
I had a public health board meeting, it was quite lengthy, almost 4 hours, but they appointed a new chair, which is Brenda Miller, and vice chair, which is Jolene Norby, and we went through a lot of things, expense and revenue, and staffing recognitions. Signed the contract with the accountant to do the accountant over there, and state grant updates, public health updates, EPI updates, coffee updates, just a lot of stuff. And I guess Amanda talked about her part of it, so. And I talked with Mike Weber. He wants to be done April 1st over there in Carpenter, so talk with the Carpenter mayor over there too, Eric, and trying to figure out what to do. So I was in contact with Ron Goodale also, because he was the runner-up before I'm doing it, but now he says he doesn't know if he has enough time to do it, so he's gonna talk to Trent and his wife, get back to me. He won't do it for what Mike's doing it for, but it'd be more, but, you know, otherwise if we go with one of them public companies, you know, it's gonna be considerably more, so. We'll have to see how this all plays out. You know, last time, I think we had 4 bids, right? And it was 950, 12, and then what were the other ones, like 1,800?
2,500.
2,500, yeah, a month. Yeah, with People's, was it People's? People's Service. And who was the other one?
The AJ Stone.
AJ Stone.
AJ Stone is
Some
one of them.
people.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
Is he with People's Service?
No, he's just
It's
himself.
his company that he's with.
AJ is independent.
AJ does work.
Or he has his
on
own
that.
company, I guess,
Yeah,
but he's
it's
not
his-
part of People's Service.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, his was the highest one.
This was the highest one, correct? Yeah, so I guess we'll see how this plays out, but April 1st is his time, and I talked with him, I says, well, if we get somebody, like I say, we get Ron, would you consider continuing to rebuild the pumps for us, you know, because he does it a lot cheaper than sending them to Des Moines, and he says, yeah, depending on who gets it, you know, AJ Stoner, them, that, you know, they won't want him to do it, but if Ron does it, he would work with him, you know, to rebuild the pumps for us, which would be a savings, because he works up in Rochester, he's going 12 hours a day, Monday through Friday, so he has some time during the week to do this.
So you mean They just would not want to build a pump, is that what you
Oh,
meant?
they would do their own stuff, you know, they ain't gonna want, like Mike Weber rebuilding the pumps for them, because they want to charge their big money, you know, if they're a business themselves, they're not gonna.
Okay, AJ isn't, but,
Yeah, but I don't,
okay, I just,
yeah, his price was the highest anyway, wasn't it? It was like 2,500 a month.
Okay.
And I think Ron would do it for 12, or like he did before. And then, because the pumps are quite costly when they go to Des Moines, you know? So have to wait and see how that plays out. I don't know if anybody's got any suggestions.
So do you just post or do you call for bids?
Well, last time I believe we posted, correct?
I don't remember what this
We
is.
just reached out to the contractor.
Yeah, we just reached out to the companies that do this, yeah.
You gotta be licensed.
Yeah, because you gotta be licensed to do it, they ain't just like anybody can do it.
Wastewater discharge.
And there is somebody in town currently now that's reading the meters for Mike.
But he doesn't want to continue.
Right, but Eric said there's another guy that will read the meters probably. Every day you gotta read the meter. Once a week you gotta go over and read the meter out there, the stick.
So that's where the big expense comes from, is getting someone to go there.
Go there and back every day, you know, to Carpenter every day. You gotta go there basically. So that's why it's expensive, you know, to go read the meters, all you gotta do.
and the present person lives in Carpenter?
Well, that's reading the meters for Mike.
Yeah.
Mike's paying him $300 a month to do it.
But
And I
that
know
guy
they
doesn't
can-
want, that guy doesn't want to do that either, that,
Well, he's doing it for now, but he's talking about moving, so if he moves, I think, but Eric says he has another guy that will probably do it, you know, in town there. So it's all, you know, it's all, in the what if, there, you know, nothing's. So I'll be working with them to try to figure something out, I don't know, like, you know, if somebody has suggestions, I don't know. But, and I don't know, it's not a lot of hours unless you have a lot of problems with pumps, but Mike has figured out which ones freeze. He bought blankets and put over them, hasn't had any problems this winter with any of them freezing. So when they freeze, then they burn the pump up. But hasn't had, since he's figured out which ones needed. There's like 7 of them, I believe, that have always been problems, I guess, in the past. So he's got some of the bugs worked out anyway, so yeah. So he says it doesn't take that long, only if an alarm goes off, you know, then but you don't have to go there right away anyway, you know, the alarm goes off in the house and then they call him and say, my alarm's going off. And he has to get there to check what's going on. If it's, sometimes they're false alarms too, but that means your pit's full and your pump ain't working. It's gonna back up into your house, you know, so. But anyway, so that was meetings I had.
Pretty good chance we're gonna have to increase the rates in Carpenter Sewer.
Well, yeah, 'cause I don't think nobody's gonna do it for what Mike was doing it for. I mean, ideally, it would be for somebody in town that lives there, would be a good side job for them. It takes them minutes a day, but they got a certification, and that's a 30-hour course down at Kirkwood and Cedar Rapids, I guess, is what it is. So you gotta pass the course. I don't know. They were gonna kind of ask around in town, Eric, was, see if anybody had an interest in it.
I mean, it would be a nice side income
Yeah.
job.
Yeah. It would, yeah. But if you don't live there, then you got to commute, you know, which that's expensive to, so, yeah, so. Anyway, that's my.
Okay.
County social service meeting, they had a pretty much orientation, because half the supervisors are new on there. And had an HR meeting after that. We gave a 5% raise to the employees. And then I had a Heartland Insurance meeting. It was just a litigation one that we were in closed session to see what action we're gonna take. Land.
At a fair board meeting, Rock Waters from the city came and, they got some projects of, water lines they might be moving around and putting different meters on, so they wanted to include him in the part of the city. And then we had 2 high school girls, come with the LEAD program. And, this had nothing to do with the fair board, but they were walking around the fairgrounds and looking for a project to do in front of the grandstands on the, like I call it, the west side. There's a bunch of decorative blocks and where they plant flowers and stuff, and they want to clean that area up and plant some flowers in there and like hostas stuff that comes back every year. And I believe they are gonna check to use flowers from the school's greenhouse to plant over there, and then a few other areas where there's gravel and the weeds are getting kind of taken over. They want to clean that area up too, so. Then went through all the committee, like all the grandstands, everybody signed, and the events. All livestock is pretty much ready to go. The wood carver, help me out, Doyle is going to be there, and it's St. Ansgar's year he's gonna make a log like he did for Osage. And then they'll auction that off, and then that'll go to St. Ansgar. The bands are lined up. They have a front gate project, but that's kind of on hold right now. I'd like to redo the front gate where you walk in and all that up above, but that's on hold for right now anyway, and so that was about it.
Okay. Your management plan update.
Griffith's Finisher Farm, 3160 Walnut Avenue Orchard. Wolf Finisher Farm, 3151 500th Street, McIntyre. Sunner, 3107 460th Street, McIntyre. And First Class, 2952 480th Street, McIntyre.
Public comments. Hearing none, I'll accept the motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Brian makes a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Meeting is adjourned.